Wedding cake disaster. Grandma the bride to the rescue. This was my wedding many years ago. My mother's cousin is a fantastic baker and makes family cakes for baby and bridal showers, etc. I always liked her work and asked if she would do my wedding cake. I paid her like any other vendor. It was going to be a simple cake, 3 tiers, with some iced flowers in a variety of pastel colors. My grandmother agreed to transport the cake as she would be traveling from the town where it was made to the city of the wedding, about 1.5 hours away. There was a simple setup for the cake. Anyway, we planned family pictures for before the ceremony. My grandma was late arriving for the pictures. I thought it was a little odd, because she is a very prompt woman. But I was preoccupied with the whole wedding, and just glad she was there and safe, and we got pictures taken. Wedding and reception went off without a hitch. I did notice that the wedding cake was not what we had discussed. It was all white icing and white flowers, no colors. But it looked fine. We cut the cake, and it tasted good. So, whatever. I was a little puzzled at the change, but I brushed that aside in the overall excitement and good feelings for the day. The next day, we had our family and wedding party over for a cookout the day after, before leaving on our honeymoon. My mom told me the whole story. My grandmother showed up at the cousin's house to pick up the cake. Cousin's daughter doesn't want to let her in. Grandma insists, and finds cousin passed out drunk, no cake in sight. So, my grandma goes to the local small-town bakery where cousin works to see if they know anything. Turns out, there are cake layers there. They didn't know what they were for as the order didn't go through the bakery, but it has not been frosted. My grandma talks them into frosting the cake because she was not going to show up to her granddaughter's wedding without the cake. They only have time to do white frosting and flowers, so that's what they did. So, it could have been a disaster, but my grandma saved the day, and I was spared the stress of worrying about the wedding cake. Posted in honor of my 91-year-old grandma, who still sends us wedding anniversary cards every year, 24 years so far. I love that grandma went on a mission to save your wedding date. I love your response to seeing a cake that wasn't quite what you ordered was to shrug it off and keep enjoying the day. No bridezillas here. That is one of my worst nightmares. I make wedding cakes and deliveries are always stressful for me due to that possibility. Decided to troll an internet scammer, and I think I accidentally hit the jackpot. Got a spam text message, one of the obvious scam lead-ins, asking, "Hello, is this Jessica's phone?" I assumed it was a scam attempt, but to be civil, I replied politely that it was not. Got a series of follow-up messages explaining their assistant must have copied the number incorrectly and apologizing for the inconvenience and introducing themselves and asking for my name. At which point I was certain that it was an attempt to scam me. So I said that I would not be providing my name, and they continued to try to engage me in conversation. So I explained who I am, a parent with a child who suffered from a life-threatening illness, and that I had to spend staggering sums of money on her care. And since I had done him no wrong, why was he trying to defraud me of money? I kept coming back to this. Next time you look in the mirror, make a note that this is what a person looks like who tries to steal money from the parent of a sick child. I figured if there was any humanity there, I might get the chance to live rent-free in their head for a while, or maybe even encourage them to take up a more honorable profession. An hour or more passed, and they came back to me about how I was in the USA and our imperialism was responsible for all the world's problems, etc. At which point I replied that my assumption was that he was in China, and while I might not like how the Chinese government treats the people of Hong Kong, or Tibet, or its Uyghur population, that wouldn't justify my trying to steal from a random person in Shanghai. I sent that, and heard nothing further. I decided to follow up and troll a bit more, and none of the messages went through. Then it dawned on me. I had said Hong Kong, Tibet, and Uyghur in the same sentence to a guy in China. I'm pretty sure that's the trifecta to hit their police state monitoring system, so he might be getting a bit more attention from the local authorities than he was really looking for. I don't know for sure, and I probably never will, but it makes me feel good to know that I may have accidentally done just about the only thing that could cause the guy to get in trouble locally. I once spent a fun day trolling a scammer who was trying to get me to buy iTunes cards, scratch the and send pics of codes. I was the stupidest person they ever met, I am sure. But they were so kind and so patient as I slowly learned how to take photo on my phone and then how to send the pictures by email. So gentle with me, and all was okay. Until they opened up attachments that were photos of my middle finger. I cannot fathom how mentally draining that must have been on their end. All that work with no results. I don't know how the scamming industry works, but I hate they find themselves in terrible circumstances. On a forum I frequent, one guy posted that he got these really obvious scam messages, and he sent back goat's pic. It turned out, his company hired these security morons to test their employees if they'll fall for a scam. But they send those scam messages to his personal phone. The guy got called into an HR meeting and was told that he made someone cry at that security company. And to please never do this again. He of course told them to stop using his personal number for that junk. Oh yeah, I did something similar. They would tell me to buy Apple gift cards. But oops, I accidentally bought Applebee gift cards. After some discussion, I managed to get the actual Apple gift cards. So I sent them pictures of 8 gift card codes I got from Google. It made me sad they ghosted me after all that. Background info: I'm a fairly experienced baker and have made dessert spreads for friends' weddings. It started out when a close friend wanted a nice dessert buffet but couldn't afford it. I offered to make the desserts she wanted, and she happily accepted with the agreement that it would be in lieu of a wedding present and she and her fiancé would cover the cost of the ingredients. Since then, several friends asked me for the same gift and I've always agreed, mostly because it's fun for me even though time, money, and labor-wise, it would be cheaper for me to just buy a present. The son of one of my parents' best friends was getting married. I know the son, but we weren't super close. The bride's parents and my parents were in the same social circle. I wasn't even expecting an invitation to the wedding, but the day after I received one, the bride called me up. Somehow she found out that I made the dessert buffets for friends, and told me that was the wedding gift she wanted from me, and she would send me her Pinterest board of ideas. Excuse me? I didn't plan on going to the wedding. I told her I would think about it. Yeah, big mistake on my part, but all of a sudden everyone, including the groom, his parents, his future in-laws, and my own parents got involved and insisted that I do it. Grudgingly, I agreed. Another big mistake on my part. Holy hell, was this girl a bridezilla. She wanted champagne-level desserts with champagne-level ingredients, all on a beer budget. I told her it wasn't possible to use all organic ingredients, and the fancy-ass Kerrygold butter she wanted wasn't organic anyways, with the budget she set for me. After I finally convinced her that the ingredients don't have to come from Whole Foods to taste good, she moved on to obsessing over how I decorated the desserts. Normally, I work off of whatever color palette the bride and groom choose, and they give me free rein with decorations. This girl wanted specific colors for cupcake liners, specific shapes for dessert glasses, and specific designs for the whipped cream topping. I bit my tongue and sucked it up. Surprisingly, it was the groom who told his fiancée to calm the fuck down after she freaked out that the vanilla cream brulee wouldn't have real vanilla beans in it. The desserts were a hit. Everybody thanked me profusely. And I vowed to never work with that woman ever again. Last I heard, she's pregnant and planning a baby shower. Not going to go into whether or not it's weird to throw a baby shower for yourself. All I know is that I'm never picking up the phone for her, her husband, or their parents. And now you know never to say yes when they ask, let them say yes to your offer. Yup, learned my lesson after dealing with her. Nowadays, I've only agreed to do it for close friends. Stories like this make me miss Bridezilla's TV show. It was about the only reality show I would watch. Those people on it are insane. I'm going to inspect each dab of whipped cream to make sure they all have the same size and shape peaks. Last I heard, she's pregnant and planning a baby shower. And she gets a block, and he gets a block, and they all got a block. You are too kind, OP'd. I would have used the cheapest ingredients for that, bitch. I can only imagine how talented you are. Maybe I am old-fashioned because I am older, but you would never expect someone who I really don't know very well to give me a dessert bar as a gift and then treat them like crap. If this bridezilla was my child, I would have told her to knock it off and grow up. And knowing how much work goes into your craft, I would have paid you double what you charge.